Coming up, we'll open the mailbag as we do every Friday. And the voice of the Jacksonville State Gamecocks, Mike Parris, joins us right here in studio. All that and more next on Southern Sports Now. Welcome in on this Friday edition of Southern Sports Now. I'm Chase Robinson, and we're so glad you are joining us here as we get a chance to talk sports with you each and every day. And we're so glad you're here. Whether you're watching on YouTube, on the East Alabama Now YouTube channel, on Facebook, on the East Alabama Now Facebook page, we want you to like and share the show. Spread the word about Southern Sports Now. Go ahead and share it on Facebook. Send that YouTube link out, and let's spread the word about Southern Sports Now as we get you ready for a big football season coming up and high school sports and all that. But speaking of football, let's count you down to the football season, and we are getting closer, 41 days away from college football. Can you believe it? As we go into the weekend here, August 26th is week 0 of the college football season. Jacksonville State will be up that day against UTEP. 4:30 there at Burgess No Field, but 41 days away from Jacksonville State football and from college football. There are 10 games on week 0 of the college football season. Our countdown to high school football, we are at 39 days away, just a little over a month away from the high school football season. 39 days away from August the 24th. That is week 0 of the high school football season. And so very excited for high school football. And we got a couple high school football questions in our mailbag we'll get to a little bit later on in the show. Monday begins SEC Football Media Days. This is always a fun week. There you see our schedule for what teams on what days next week. It's Monday through Thursday. You got LSU, A&M, and Missouri up on Monday. On Tuesday, Vanderbilt, Georgia, the Auburn Tigers get a chance to hear from Hugh Freeze on Tuesday, as well as new Mississippi State head coach Zach Arnett. On Wednesday, Nick Saban and the Tide will be up first, followed by Arkansas, Florida, and Kentucky. And then on Thursday, they'll wrap it up with Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Tennessee. So excited for SEC Media Days. Always great information coming out of the week. It's kind of like the official kickoff to the college football season, if you will, with the coaches there at SEC Media Days. So we'll have lots of content there from Nashville, and we'll have some of the coaches' press conferences, some clips next week and see what they have to say leading up to the season. But SEC Media Days next week for the first time ever in Nashville, Tennessee. For a long time, of course, in Hoover. Spent time in Atlanta a couple of times, including last year, and making their first trip up to Nashville there in the volunteer state of Tennessee. And again, that is coming up next week. I'm interested in hearing from Hugh Freeze and Zach Arnett, both the new head coaches in the conference, and looking forward to seeing what they have to say. And again, always headlines coming out of SEC Media Days. When you get that many media members together and these head coaches, there's always headlines that come out of the week. So we'll be all over that coming up next week. Want to talk some Jack State Gamecocks coming up next as Mike Parris, the voice of the Gamecocks, joins us right here in studio on the other side of this break.
Here at Ted's, we are excited to now be offering custom-made cabinets. With that in mind, we're changing our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond is going to encompass everything that we offer in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Welberg Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
EAN Sports is proud to bring you the best, most informative local sports content, and we want your help to be able to do that. If you have a story idea, a tip for our sportscast, or even a highlight clip you want to see on EAN Local Sports, send us an email, eansports23@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter @EAN_sports or you can send it to the EAN News Facebook page. EAN Sports, bringing you the local sports happening in your community.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today.
If you see some interesting weather phenomenon in your backyard here in East Alabama, send that to us. We would love to hear from you. Send that to us at the email address you see on your screen or through Facebook at EAN News.
We are back here on Southern Sports Now on this Friday. Hope you're having a great day. Chase Robinson here, and as we told you, we're going to talk some Jacksonville State athletics now as we have the voice of the Gamecocks, Mike Parris, here in studio with us. Mike, certainly glad to have you here today.
Thank you, sir. I feel underdressed. I didn't know, so I apologize for my casual attire here, but thank you. I appreciate the invitation.
Well, absolutely, and it's exciting times at Jacksonville State, obviously, with the move to Conference USA for all sports, moved to FBS and football. Year 41 for you doing football?
That's why my hair's this color.
Did you think that there would be a day where you'd be calling FBS football at Jacksonville State?
Not at all. First game was at Chattanooga in 1983. First game to open the season that year in 83. And the press box at Chamberlain Field, the old place, wasn't any bigger than your desk that you're sitting behind right there. Oh, it was tiny. But no, I got to be honest, I never thought anything like that at that point in time. And, we had all those great years in Division II and then made the move. And, when Jack Crow actually was our head football coach, that was one thing that he kept talking about the whole time he was at Jacksonville State was, making the move to the next level. And that time it was 1A and now FBS. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm afraid we may have some growing pains, but that's part of it. But it's I never thought it, and I'm interested to see how, it'll affect not just athletics, but the campus-wide, what effect it'll have on it by going FBS in football.
Yeah, so you were with Jacksonville State in the transition from Division II to FCS. What was that like? I mean, because a lot of success in the Division II days, national championships. Like, what was that transition like as they moved into the 1AA FCS at that time?
Well, in football in particular and in basketball, we did have some growing pains, but I think some of that goes back to resources. We didn't have the resources we needed, and once we got those resources, then obviously in football had success. And basketball, we had some years we were successful, and then when Ray Harper came in, finally got to the tournament, been there a couple of times now. But that was the big thing, just the lack of resources, and I think we're better prepared right now. And I don't know how that's going to translate as far as wins and losses, but I think we're better prepared to make this move from FCS to FBS than we were to go from Division II to Division I. And a lot of people don't realize, at that time it was 1AA football. It's still Division I, even though people didn't, they thought we were still playing something else in football and all our other sports were Division I. Yeah. But, we had success early on. Softball, the first year we were Division I. They actually had to win a play-in series. They won the conference championship in what was then the TAC, Trans-American Athletic Conference, which then became the Atlantic Sun, which is now the A-Sun. Keep up with me. No, but they won the tournament that year, first year, and then had to play a play-in series at Greensboro, North Carolina, Greensboro, then to get to NCAA regional play. So had success there. In baseball, we did some things there early on too, but football and basketball struggled a bit there before we finally found some footing and got it going.
So the move to Conference USA now, spent long time in the OVC, kind of got familiar with those teams, spent a couple of years in the A-Sun, got familiar with those teams. Now you're heading into the Conference USA with some of those are familiar, but some teams that the Gamecocks aren't familiar with. So what's this transition going to be like now moving into Conference USA?
I'm going to start with this. I will not miss the A-Sun from the second time there, the 2 years in it. I'll just leave it at that. There were some interesting things there between football and the baseball tournament stuff. So I'm looking forward to Conference USA for that from that change. Now, I got sidetracked there because that was rolling through my mind. What did you ask me?
Conference USA teams, familiar with OVC?
Yes, okay.
And now you're in Conference USA.
I
with
never
new
thought
teams.
I never thought I'd be going to Las Cruces, New Mexico for a radio broadcast. I can tell you that, to go to New Mexico State. I've been to El Paso one time. We played in the Sun Bowl tournament out in El Paso, UTEP. Hosted that, and that was probably been 10 years ago, 11 years ago or something. People may not realize in the old days, there weren't the proliferation of bowl games there is now. But Sugar Bowl, Orange Bowl, all the big bowls had a basketball tournament in conjunction, just a holiday event, I guess, trying to, for the fans coming in, that sort of thing. So you always had a Sugar Bowl Classic or Orange Bowl Classic or whatever. So, and they still do that at the Sun Bowl. One of the best things, quite honestly, it took care of us completely and everything out there. But so I've been to El Paso, been to Las Cruces. We haven't played middle in football since 1999. We had played them at one time when we first made the move up. And they were in transition during that period up to 1A football. So we haven't played Western since the 1AA playoffs at that time, back in 2003, first year that we made the playoffs. That's, I guess, the last time that we played them. I've never been to Louisiana Tech, haven't been on their campus, so I'm looking forward to that. There's a lot of history in that program, and football, basketball, and baseball for that matter. So it's, some of them I'm familiar with, and some of them I'm familiar with, but I've never played them, never been on campus.
Right.
I just know about them, tradition, and what they have.
Yeah, because I think, back in the OVC, you'd make the trips up to Illinois, but that's really the farthest you had to go. Now, I mean, you look at kind of the map of the Conference USA, you got Miami to New Mexico to Virginia. I mean, it's all over the place.
Liberty, and talking with their people, that's what they're looking at in Lynchburg, Virginia. They've got to go cross country or way south or whatnot. So it's going to be different, from that standpoint, travel. Whereas the OVC, and except maybe for a couple of spots, the ASUN was bus travel. Now we're going to be in the air for everything, basketball and baseball. So.
Yeah. As football season approaches, year 2 for Rich Rod. I mean, this is, he's been on high levels. He's coached, really at the highest levels you can in college football. But now he has a chance to take a program, into, the high levels of football. How do you see kind of this football season playing out? What are some realistic expectations Jack State fans can have coming into this kind of transition year for the Gamecocks?
We got a whole bunch of new faces that we'll have on the team. I think 50 to 55, which we had last year, and that was a new coaching change, and with the portal taking effect, really, in NIL. And now I think part of this is because you're going to that next level, so you got to have a different guy. So that's part of the reason for all the new faces. But my opinion, I think we could be anywhere from 2-10 to 6-6. And if you get lucky, maybe you win another one. I don't know. But I think if we were 6-6, that'd be tremendous in making that transition your first year. We added some scholarships last year. I think we were somewhere between 70 and 75. For people that don't know, in FCS football, you have 63 total scholarships, and you can break those up. You can have 85 on scholarship, but it's just 63 total scholarships, whereas now they're all full scholarships, so you got 85 on scholarship. So, I think if we could go 6-6, we go to South Carolina and play. UTEP didn't make a bowl game. They had to win the last regular season game, blew a 24-0 lead, or they would have been in a bowl game had they gone to win that one. New Mexico State did make a bowl. Liberty was in a bowl game last year, So the conference schedule is going to be tough. Middle and Western year in, year out, bowl teams as well. So I just think if we could somehow do that, I really think that would. And if you win more than that, obviously it's a tremendous year. Then if you finish with a winning record.
Zion Webb back with the Gamecocks. What, year 7? I mean, you've been calling a lot of Zion Webb's football over the last little bit.
I was about to say he's been at Jacksonville State almost as long as I've been involved up there too.
How important is that going to be to have him back for a 7th year? He knows Rich Rod's offense. That's got to be huge to have a guy like that back.
I think that is the biggest thing. He's got a year in the system, and I thought probably the last few games of the year, he really had developed a better understanding. And as Ray Hammett loves to say, this is Rich Rod's offense. You know, he put it together, and he knows where everybody's supposed to be and what's supposed to be happening and whatnot. And he's not afraid to let you know if you don't follow and don't know where somebody's supposed to be. And I think probably Zion struggled a little bit early with it, with the change in offenses, but I really thought the last few games of the season he was pretty good. And he's a guy that when he came out of Central Phoenix City to Jacksonville State, there were, you know, our coaching staff at that time, they didn't come out and completely say it, but Eli Jenkins, you know, a guy, dual threat, could run, and they thought he was going to be that type of guy. And unfortunately for him, you know, injuries got him, and then the pandemic and everything. So that's why the NCAA granted the waiver to give him a 7th year. And I hope that he has a good year. I really do. And I think he could have a tremendous year. Now, again, the transition, you're playing against, you know, better competition, quite honestly, better caliber for the most part. So see how that plays out. But I think he's, you know, he knowing the system and having a good feel for it now, I think he could have a tremendous year.
It was a really good running back room for JSU last year. Of course, Zion Webb definitely contributed to the running as well, but you know, a lot of the guys, they're built the same, they look the same, and they can fly. What is it the same running backs coming back? Like, what do the backs look like this year?
Well, they're all going to look the same, and the numbers are all right there close together too. You know, I have to 20s. Look, I have to look 3 or 4 times to figure out who's out there. Then sometimes it's not right. But I think we'll have some depth there again, and maybe more of a burner than maybe one of those guys back there this year, possibly. So we'll see. But, you know, you could throw up anybody out there last year and basically got a contribution out of everybody, helped in some form or fashion. And I think it'll probably be that same way again. I don't know. I thought Ron Wiggins, the latter part of the season, it sort of clicked for him. And I really think that if he can get something going early and build some more confidence, I think he could be very special. I just don't think he scratched the surface of his talent, quite honestly, and I hope he can have what I would call a breakout year.
Yeah, and before we wrap this up, I want to talk a little Jack State baseball. Of course, Jim Case, 22 years as a head coach, retired. Steve Beazer coming in with some SEC experience. First of all, just talk about Jim Case and kind of what he meant to Jack State baseball, and now kind of what the future looks like for the game.
Well, the old man, no, I'm just kidding. He and I are very good friends. And I'm going to miss him, I'll tell you that, you know, riding the bus. And I sat at the front of the bus so he could get mad at me after a game when he was in a bad mood instead of one of his assistant coaches. But tremendous job, you know, with what he's done in the regional appearances. And he was, I can tell you, he's disappointed in one aspect. From day one when he got here, he felt like that we could make a run to a super regional, just never got there, got to the finals in 19. And if the pandemic doesn't occur in 2020, I firmly believe that with the people we had coming back and what we'd accomplished the year before, I really thought 2020 was going to be that year that we might make it to a super regional, and then the pandemic hits and we're 10 games into the year, you know, and then it's done. So I think we're going to miss him. I don't think people appreciated the way he handled the pitchers and took care of them. And, you know, you got some guys that'll take guys who have some potential to play professional baseball and overuse them, I'll put them that way, but he was not going to do that with anybody. You know, he took care of them from that standpoint and whatnot. And I know analytics are a part of baseball now, but I'm old and I'm an old school guy, and he was a numbers guy, sort of like that too, you know, with stats and whatnot. We did incorporate some things with analytics into stuff, but he was an old school guy, and that's what I appreciated about him, and in doing things the right way on the field and off the field for that matter and whatnot. So Steve Beazer, I know of, he was in the league, you know, at SEMO, so we know about him, and he did a terrific job there at SEMO, and we bumped heads, especially in the tournament, you know, every year against them in the OVC. Goes to Missouri, spent 7 years there, had an overall winning record. His SEC record wasn't great, but people need to remember this. He had the lowest baseball budget in the Southeastern Conference. Out of 14 schools, they were dead last, and it wasn't close between 14 and 13 in the difference that the money went into the program. So he was limited there. I really think he will be a good follow to Jim Case. I really do. And in some ways they're similar, but yeah, now he's a guy. They were one of the first people to bring analytics into the Ohio Valley Conference when he was the head coach at SEMO. So I'm looking forward to working with him. I think we got a chance again to keep it going like we have.
Exciting things happening at Jacksonville State. The voice of the Gamecocks, Mike Parris, here in studio. You'll be hearing him starting this fall back for more Jacksonville State football and every other sport just about this played at Jacksonville State. You can hear the voice on there. Mike, really appreciate you coming in and talking with me today and talking some Gamecocks.
Thank you, sir. I've enjoyed it. We'll do it again sometime. I have you on the radio, too.
Yes, absolutely. More Southern sports now to come in just a moment. Keep hanging out with us. We got more.
Here at Ted's, we are excited to now be offering custom-made cabinets. With that in mind, we're changing our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond is going to encompass everything that we offer in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Welber Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. Steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today.
Ted's Floors and Beyond brings you Southern sports now each and every day. Of course, Ted's is your headquarters for all things flooring. They've got hardwood, laminate, carpet, tile, and luxury vinyl. They now have a partnership with Welborn Cabinet to now offer you a complete kitchen or bath makeover. Cabinets, countertops, flooring, backsplashes, and tile showers. Always offer 0% interest financing for 12 months and free in-home estimates. They've got a lifetime warranty on all flooring installations. They're locally owned and operated, so go by and see them today and get very helpful service there when you walk in the store. They're located on Highway 431 in Anniston, right before you get to Sachs Elementary School. You can visit them online, shopteds.com, shopteds.com. Ted's Floors and Beyond brings you Southern sports now. We love diving into the mailbag every Friday. We're going to do that now, and I got a couple of high school football questions here on this mailbag Friday. First one, it's a tough one. Is there a team in our area that has a chance to win a state championship this year? This is a tough question. And I think folks here in Calhoun County have been spoiled to the fact the last few years where we've had 6, 7, 8, 9 teams, with going deep in the playoffs, either to the quarterfinal rounds, to the semifinal rounds. We've had some really good high school football the last few years, and I think that will continue. I'm not sure that we'll have as many teams making deep runs. You think 4 teams here in Calhoun County had 4-year starting quarterbacks. I mean, a lot of these guys are graduating off now. I do think the Anniston Bulldogs could make a really deep run this year. Piedmont always, I think, is in the running for make a really deep run. If you get out of Calhoun County, go up to Cherokee County, maybe Cherokee County could make another run in Class 4A at the state championship. But I think we will have some teams go deep. It's hard to say at this point, though, if we have a team that is a clear-cut favorite to go all the way. But I do think Anniston could go deep, and again, Piedmont could go deep, and Oxford could make a deep run into playoffs as well. But we'll see here in a few weeks if how these teams shape out to be. Question number 2, another high school football question here. Which high school football team has the best chance to rebound from last year? And I'm going to say a team that we talked about a couple of days ago. That's the Pleasant Valley Raiders. They play in Class 2A Region 6. It's a team that you think back 2-3 years ago, they were winning 1-2 games a year. Last year, they were able to win 4 games finished with a 4-6 record. But seeing them in the 7-on-7 action last week, talking with Coach Jonathan Nix, I like where Pleasant Valley's at right now. They've got a lot of guys back. That's really going to help them. They've got guys who won those 4 games last year are looking to build on that. I think this is a playoff team at Pleasant Valley. Pleasant Valley is one of those teams, if they just kind of break that seal and get into the playoffs, I think that's going to totally turn that program around, and they can start getting there consistently. But I do think Pleasant Valley is the team that's going to kind of rebound from the last few years, not just taking last year, but the last few years, build on that this year. I do think they can be a playoff team. And as Coach Nix told me the other day, they got guys who are hungry to win, who are wanting to win, who are, coming early to practice, staying after workouts, coming back later, putting the work in that needs to be done to be successful. And so I'm going to say Pleasant Valley is one team in this area who I think is a playoff potential team and could certainly win some games this year. And I think they will definitely rebound from the last few years there for the Pleasant Valley Raiders. I think Coach Jonathan Nix definitely has the program headed in the right direction. But I really appreciate the questions there on the mailbag. We do this every Friday, and here's how you can submit those questions to us all through the week to get ready for Friday. You can send us an email, eansports23@gmail.com. You can send us a message on Facebook on the East Alabama Now Facebook page, or you can send us a direct message there on Twitter at EAN_sports. But we will dive into the mailbag every Friday here on Southern Sports Now. We'll jump to a break. We'll come back, wrap things up here for this Friday. Talk a little Braves. They're back in action tonight. We'll do that next.
Here at Ted's, we are excited to now be offering custom-made cabinets. With that in mind, we're changing our name to Ted's Floors and Beyond. The Beyond is going to encompass everything that we offer in addition to all of your flooring needs.
We've partnered with Welberg Cabinet Company, who makes the highest quality cabinets in the industry.
So when you're ready for a complete kitchen or bathroom remodel, shop Ted's.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
Hi, I'm Dr. Brodney Sneed from both CARES and Direct Primary Care. Direct Primary Care is an exciting new model of medical care growing on both the East and West Coast. It's been recommended by Forbes and the American Academy of Family Physicians and others for individuals or small businesses with or without health insurance. The pure simplicity of a membership model streamlines the burden of medical care. It eliminates 60% of the overhead. That streamlining allows providers time to focus on patients with free, no copay, no deductible, unhurried office visits or telehealth visits with minimal waiting room time. It produces same or next day appointments and access by text or telephone during and after hours. It saves you from leaving work, wasting time and getting exposed in a waiting room, and the convenience and cost with barriers removed helps one avoid letting problems like a sore throat turn into an expensive ER or hospital visit for pneumonia. If you're interested, search the web for CARES Direct Primary Care.
We are back here on Southern Sports Now as we get ready to wrap it up on this Friday. Got to talk a little Braves baseball, though, as Braves back in action following the All-Star break. We get into the second half of the season now. Obviously, the most important half of the season. The Braves are playing really good right now, coming out of the break, and got the Chicago White Sox for 3 games in Truist Park this weekend there in Atlanta. Now, the White Sox not having a great year. They sit towards the bottom of the American League Central, 38-54 record. Of course, the Braves 60-29 on the year. They're 8.5 games in the lead of the National League East. But it'll be interesting to see how the Braves come out after the break and head into this final stretch here of the Major League Baseball season, and hopefully we'll see the Braves playing on into October as really the best team in baseball right now. Charlie Morton takes the mound tonight for the to take on the Chicago White Sox. So looking forward to seeing Charlie Morton after kind of an extended break with the All-Star break. We'll see how he rebounds coming up tonight. And an important note, and this is for Braves fans in this area who don't want to make a trip over to Atlanta. You may want to make about an hour drive up to Rome, Georgia. Max Fried is going to be pitching for the Rome Braves on Sunday. So you can go check out some minor league baseball and see the Braves ace, Max Fried, in a rehab assignment there, as he'll be starting Sunday there for the Rome Braves. So pretty cool there. And hopefully we'll see Max Fried back in Atlanta very soon. That's a good step, though, that he's able to get a rehab assignment start there in Rome. But hopefully we'll have Max back on the lineup very, very soon. But looking forward to some Braves baseball getting back in it second half of the season following the All-Star break. We will depart from you now and get ready for a big weekend. And a big week next week, SEC Media Days. We'll continue to get you ready for high school football, all that and more next week. But I hope you all have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us. Remember, spread the word about Southern Sports Now. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, share it with your friends, and we'll talk to you again on Monday with more Southern Sports Now.